Hello, builders. We're on to week 7. I'm taking a look back at the progress that I've made this week. I think that for the most part, I'm not going to go back to the Excel sheet. I think you can guess triple zeros, zero waitlist, zero users, zero money. But we actually are going to jump into demos today. We're actually going to have some fun, look at some of the products that are being made, go over a little bit of some of the different features and pieces of technology that I'm using in different stuff. Um, this project here, calling Poke Imagine. Really cool. Really excited to see where that goes because it's kind of my first dip. Dipping my toes into AI, and so I'm kind of actually getting more and more excited for it, and we'll just jump right into the demo. Okay, so this is the kind of homepage for it actually is the homepage for Poke Imagine. And so the kind of thought process behind this is thinking about tools like Canva, which offer some form of photo editing, Photoshop style thing, but being able to create it in a web format, which will make it more easy to use and accessible than Photoshop, and incorporate a lot of different AI. It's like the test bed for different AI techniques to be applied towards, image generation, image editing, all that type of stuff. So let's just jump right into it. Let's just go into this. So just going into the editor, starting up a random project for the first time. So this is our little canvas window. Looks very similar to a lot of different products that are out there. You can put in like a little shape here, change your colors, and add in a little piece of text here, which should be white, just to make it more visible there. And I can resize it, put it here, or I can undo and get rid of everything at some point. But the more interesting thing is, sorry with the highlight there. There you go. Pulling images from the Unsplash API. So you could pull like an interesting photo like of this flower here, right? And we have a couple of different AI things that we can do. We could also generate an image if you'd like, which I'll go into in a little bit. But let's just say, we just wanted to remove the background, right? It's a popular use case, right? So we just have AI do that real quick, and just moving this thing out of the way, you can see, this is where AI is kind of at. I think that a thing with like less shadows might be a little bit easier, but again, AI, the more progression it has, the better it gets. This is probably honestly not an illustrative of how well some of these background things is. So I'm just gonna try a different one and see. I wonder if this flower instead. Yeah, let's see. Why not? We'll go over cost a little bit later, but just letting this run. The wait times vary. I think it's dependent on, the underlying model's API. So sometimes it's a long wait, sometimes it's not. So we're done there. It'd probably be easier to see if we change the background color to just black. Okay, so we got a little bit here and a little bit. So, and if we wanted to just try out image generation for a second here, let's just see how this looks here. While that's kind of running, we'll switch over real quick to, oh, actually, there it is. A little car. I don't know where the astronaut is, but again, it's AI. It's in the early stages, kind of what it's working on. And honestly, I'm kind of interested now. What if we coupled different AI things together? So we had one AI in Stable Diffusion, and then we did another one. There you go. Just pulls out the car. Actually, that's a way better pull than some of the others, right? So that's actually illustrative of, you can kind of see actually in this photo, and you can kind of see it a little bit here, some of the stuff that it missed, but all in all, way better than what I could conceivably do, and probably for the best. So cool. That's basically PokeImagine. So that's basically what I've been working a lot this past week on, but is something I think was incorporating more AI stuff. I wanted to get more confident in it. Found a YouTube tutorial. I needed a photo editor anyways within the kind of toolbox of websites and apps for me to be able to deploy against ideas into the future. So, you know me, I love things that are dually useful, useful here, useful there for multiple reasons. I'm always about that. Don't want to waste time just, doing something that, you know, whatever. But in any case, there was another thing that I was working on. All right, so I'd said a couple, I think last week really, that and a couple weeks back I was already planning on doing this, but using the Excel sheet to kind of track all of the different moving parts. Great for some particular things, a little bit on the KPI tracking, and obviously really good on the financial numbers, but starts falling apart when you try to expand upon that. You get a bunch of different, sheets, and so, if you try to onboard onto something, gave them just an Excel sheet, unless they're really used to spreadsheets, they're not going to be able to figure it out. And so kind of looking at building using web UI, an easier way to be able to present information to people. So, whether it's planning, which is more the KPI planning, and kind of, more strategic KPI, like what numbers are we tracking? How are we doing this week to this week to this week, and keeping track of that. More around the planning, because it also includes like goal planning, strategic planning, that type of stuff, which can all get incorporated into this tab here. We have the work tab, which hasn't been done yet, but more of a Trello style, like task manager, Kanban board, if you will, to be able to pull tasks around from backlog, to do, in progress, done, all that type of stuff. So that I can honestly, when I'm going through these, go through it more easily than with an Excel sheet. Another thing, just like reviewing the progress. So if we're doing like the review, I've done a bunch of retrospectives and, different investor update calls, whether I'm giving it or someone else is. And so, just kind of thinking through, hey, what would I be doing? What would I be putting in a presentation? Being able to put it here so that not just it's somebody on your team that is able to take a look at it, see how your team holistically is working, whether they're in leadership or just curious, FTE curious, they can take a look at it. To your mentors and investors, can also give access to this individual portion and they can check it out. And then last but not least, obviously being able to add people to a thing, stuff's not built yet, the API is not connected, so not worth showing it, but do look out for more of that in the future, and honestly, I'm kind of thinking about getting rid of the homepage here, whether or not it's necessary to have kind of like the top level items, more useful probably for management to see what are the top KPIs, what are the top things to be tracked. Again, none of it's stored yet because I haven't done it, but more work on this into the future. So we are showcased PokeWork, we've showcased PokeImagine, the whole suite of different pocket apps, if you will, Poke apps, which are starting on web, migrate over to mobile at some point in the future. Kind of been what I've been working on this past week. So I wanted to kind of show a little bit of the layers there. I think the last thing kind of just reminded me about. So all these AI stuff. So just running into code. So even the non-technical people, stay. It's not as scary as this may initially look. To kind of look at it, right? So just looking at a normal kind of API pull here using Hano, you don't need to worry about that if you're a non-technical founder, but just kind of look at like using a service called Replicate. I'm able to tap into Stability AI's Stable Diffusion model, and with some options here, and honestly I could minimize this so it fits in 1 to 4-ish, actually 4 probably for the most readability, like this on one line, all this, one line-ish. Anyways, I just expanded it out. There's also like this commented out portion, which is not being run, which could use Stable Diffusion 3. It's more expensive, so that's why I don't really use it, but just kind of looking at that. And then this is kind of the one, you can see how it's a lot even more simple. It's just one line of code, 58 here, using a model just named removed background, right? To just remove background. So really not a lot of code to be able to start using different AI models, right? And so leveraging Meta's Llama and maybe Mistral AIs, uh, you know, that's available on Replicate. The prices seem kind of reasonable. I have a spending cap, so I don't have to worry about overspending. There is this academic paper that I was reading. I know, founders reading academic papers when you're not in deep tech. I think a lot of people really want to look at kind of the holy grail of how AI can automate a lot of work so that founders can come up with ideas and manage as opposed to actually working for a living, which would be the dream to move into different types of work. But kind of looking at highlighting this paper here written by these individuals here. But being able to think about each of these people, and obviously they use like a very nice kind of graphic interface here to basically have a bunch of different agents that have their own jobs. How sometimes you can prompt engineer and tell a LLM that, hey, you work in this particular function. Being able to do that, but kind of split it out so you can see here, and I'll zoom in so that you can even see it more easily. We have like the design, 3 LLMs for design, 4 LLMs for coding, 4 for testing. I don't know what these people are doing, or AI, sorry, agents are doing. Maybe an agent secretary here and 2 agent slackers. But, like conceivably, you don't need the graphical user interface. It's nice to have, maybe. I think actually I'm going to do a tutorial on Slack and kind of just run things through like a normal chat interface as if you're communicating with a bunch of coworkers via Slack. Great experiment to see if remote work actually works, especially when, Turing tests, but for remote employees, you don't know if your coworker is an AI or not. Maybe you never see them. Maybe they're always camera off. We don't know. There are AI models to add voice and whatever else. So, it's kind of the future here. So don't know if this will work, but part of it is the fact that you have multiple models working with each other. Sometimes you can kind of trick a model into getting the right answer because you're like, this is wrong. You gave a wrong answer. And it's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I was wrong. My mistake. Here's the right answer. And sometimes you have to play that little game. Well, if you have a series of LLMs and maybe you have one person who's designated contrarian and devil's advocate, and then try to come up with some form of consensus-based answer by having multiple agents who are, I think the computer science term is non-deterministic, meaning you don't know that the output is not known. You run, imagining if AI is a machine, you pull a lever, it spits out an answer. It's not the same answer every single time. Right, so that's non-determinism. You put something in, you don't know what's coming out. Could be a random answer or in a range of answers. And honestly, with AI, it's kind of in a range, right? Too incorrect, but it's never going to be wildly like, what color is the sky? Food. It's a nonsensical answer. It's probably going to provide something within a ballpark, right? So, based off of that, right, this would be a really cool kind of project to also think about, especially if I'm going to go deeper into AI. So this episode's kind of gone a little bit long, and so I apologize that. Talking about a little bit future-looking stuff. Honestly, a lot more hopeful. I think, a little bit of development rut of like working on different products to try to get the ball moving forward. But progress is being made on a lot of different things. The canvas looks nice, really nice on PokeMagine. Honestly, in my wildest dreams, I would never expect it to actually get that stuff done. But lo and behold, I have that. I also have the starts of kind of a more, honestly, I'll say a better Gira. And then if you can incorporate more AI stuff into it, and then again, switching back, using kind of different things from a lot of these academic papers that are exploring like how do LLMs work with each other? Can we subsidize the fact that hey, there's a really smart person, but you know, five LLMs can do their work, right? Which makes this different than kind of single agent, or at least from the user's perspective, single agent coding LLMs like Devin, like I think saw most people are using Cursor AI and Claude and all that stuff. So it just seems like there's one agent, one model that's being run somewhere that's designated for you. You're getting answers from them. Black box ish, right? It's not like there's a group of LLMs, they compare the answer, and here's the consensus, right? Apart from kind of the QA, here's answer A, answer B, which one do you like more? That I've seen a little bit from some different LLMs, providers like OpenAI will do that. This is going to be like, hey, the team has collaborated. We've come up with an answer. We're presenting an answer to the manager, which is either another AI or, the founder or the puppeteer, if you will, whatever you want to term that person, right? Who knows? This is a lot of experimentation. I don't think people, flat orgs like NVIDIA, where, a lot of people have lots of direct reports and as flat of a structure as possible. Or, whether it's like a really large enterprise, you have AIs reporting to AIs who report to different AIs, and they have different direct reports. There's a whole structure. A lot of this stuff can kind of get simulated. Don't know. We'll see how the results work. So really excited for a lot of those different types of stuff. I think the quintessential focus of a lot of this is just building and then getting these products out there. So I don't think PokeImagine will be out there just because with the AI stuff, it's not really, let me know if you would like that to be released so that you can test it out. The AI stuff, there's a cost to me, so, if I guess first come, first serve until you hit the $20 cap. But yeah, if you'd like to try it out, let me know. I'll release it onto a public website. You can go in, try it out. Other than that, PokeWork, there's a lot of stuff to do there. DraftStonks, have not forgotten about that. It's just like trying to get a lot of these different pieces together. Especially about like managing myself as a solo founder, very challenging. And so just trying to get that ball rolling as well. And so, a lot of different a lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire. So, hopefully this gives you a little bit of motivation, inspiration to go out and do your own thing. Just remember, if G can build, so can you. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next week. Thank you.